Hi, this is Yves Tourigny, one of the designers of Midnight Men. So I'm going to explain to you how threat resolution works in this game. So here we've got a menace, a clockwork beast attacking the east side of the city, and the night watchman is going to go and see if he can do anything here. So movement within the same zone is free. So, hooray for me. Now, the other heroes would be positioning themselves during the hero phase now, and then, assuming I'm the only one playing, which is currently true, we're going to go straight to the threat phase. So, going from the hero phase down to the threat phase, where the first thing we do is resolve threats. So, we've got this nice threat resolution board here, and we're going to unpack our threat. So any cards that are face up on top, they're active. So right now only the Menace card's active, so we go look, where do I put my Menace card? Right at the end here. So the Menace card, it has threat symbols on it. That means that it needs to be neutralized directly by the heroes. And it says so here that the threat dissipates if the Menace card is neutralized. So that's kind of the goal here for this kind of threat. Menace, you get rid of this card, the whole threat goes away. Now, that was the only face-up card, so now we're just going to put the rest on the threat deck. And that's how they go. There is an arrow here that sort of leads you through the steps, and these chains here indicate that all of these cards here are part of the chain of command. So in order to get from left to right, so in order to get access to this card here, there can't be any cards here. Except if you've got powers that have this little arrow. So your nifty little reference card tells you that those short-range ones can affect heroes or active cards in your location. No chain of command, so you ignore the chain of command. These hand ones here, though, they can only affect cards that are the first link in the chain of command. So, these threat cards here, the threat deck rather, I'm gonna have to draw some, but if we follow the steps, so place place active cards in the chain of command order. So we did that with the Menace card. Resolve immediate effects on active cards in reverse chain of command order. So that arrow I pointed out goes like this first, because first we're going to look at for any immediate effects on the active card. So here's one. Add 1 damage token to this location. Poops. So grab one of these damage cubes, put it in the location. We still have a few to go, so we're okay. No more cards, so we hit the deck here. So what do we do next? Draw and resolve new threat cards one at a time. Now, how many threat cards should we draw and resolve? Well, that depends on the clock. So on the board here, it tells you how many threat cards you're going to be drawing, minimum, based on what time it is in the game. So you start with 3, and then when you hit 4 on the clock, so after the second turn, you add 1 more, and then you add an extra one after that. There's also what's called the villain effect. So when the major villain's in a zone, 1 additional threat card is drawn during the threat resolution phase. For the sake of this, we're going to assume he isn't in the zone, so we're only going to draw the amount of cards listed here. So that is 3. So we draw them. So it says draw and resolve new threat cards one at a time. So we draw them one at a time and resolve them. The black bordered cards have to be dealt with immediately. These are urgent situations. If you don't act now, then tough. So innocent bystander, there's no immediate effects on it, so we get to play. Night Watchman, to produce this symbol here, I've got a few options. I could use unerring aim, I could use mind control, or I could use analytic genius, because this ingenuity symbol, right, ingenuity, that is kind of a wild, so it can be used to replace any symbol. So I'm going to save that, and I'm going to, knowing that there's no henchman in this threat, and knowing that I don't need the mental to take care of these guys, I'm going to use my mind control. Flip it over, produce that symbol, and innocent bystander saved. Put that aside for now. Alright, second card. Structural damage. There's an immediate effect, so first thing we do is all heroes present must flip a card or gain an injury card. So rather than do that, I'm going to use my ability here, Preparedness, so I can flip it to avoid the immediate effect of an active threat card. Let's do that. I don't have this symbol. So what am I going to do? I'll use my analytic genius if I want to neutralize it. The effect if I don't neutralize it is add 1 damage token to this location. This card is returned to the supply. So there is only 3 spots for damage tokens. That would be number 2. So let's try to get rid of it first. Done. Structural damage. Card 2, gone. Third card. Endangered children. No immediate effect, but I need 2 bystander symbols in order to get rid of that. So, as you can see, I've only got the 1 card that's not activated. Thankfully, I've got Vitality. So, what I will do is, here it says, expend 1 Vitality to activate it. So even though it's flipped upside down, I can still use it, but now it costs me 1 if I want to produce any of these symbols. So, I guess I'm going to produce this and this. So this one costs me nothing, this one costs me 1 Vitality to use. Down to 1. So, neutralized. Thank goodness. Now, I don't have to draw anymore. I could, though, choose to. I'm not going to. So, heroes activate cards to neutralize remaining active cards. So there are no remaining active cards except for the Menace card. Unfortunately, due to perhaps poor planning on my part or some unexpected cards, I don't have anything left to activate. I've only got the 1 Vitality, which means I can only produce 1 of these symbols. There are 3 symbols here, so I am out of luck. Now, if there were other heroes in this zone, so perhaps over here, I'm over here, and they had cards that allowed them to act at long range, then perhaps I could get some help. But in this case, I'm doomed. So we resolve the X effect, which is that heroes gain 1 injury card and add 1 to the terror level. So we're going to increase the terror level by 1. Oops. And then I get an injury card. So my nifty tower here, injury cards at the top. Take one of those, and then add that injury card. When you get an injury card, you have to attach it to one of your power cards or ability cards. And what it does is that from now on, until this injury card is eliminated, neutralized, you're going to need to expend 1 Vitality to activate it. This is 1 more than it usually costs. So if it's already flipped over, it costs 1 to activate it because of this, and then it costs an extra 1 to activate because of that. So that would be kind of bad. So because this is a really useful one, I'm going to place this injury on something that maybe I use less frequently, like this one here. And then that would be the end of this threat resolution phase.